Alright, so it was announced that Billy is getting a rework very soon. I think the PTP is on the 9th or the 10th or something of that nature. And I thought maybe I would just go ahead and just voice my opinion on some changes I'd like to see to Billy. I'm almost certain they've pretty much gone through with the rework and they know what they want to do and they've already done it, but I thought, hey, I might as well talk about things I would like to see. Also, don't worry about this build, it was a randomizer when I was streaming. Okay, so I want to divide this into three sections. Also, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of this video is gonna be me yapping. There's not gonna be like any gameplay, maybe a little bit in the background, but nothing crazy. So I don't know, maybe just watch this in the background or something, or I don't know, whatever can help you digest the information, right? Okay, so with that out of the way, uh, this video is gonna be divided into three sections: Basekit changes that I would like to see specifically, add-on changes I would like to see specifically, and more ambitious changes that I don't think would ever make it into the game, but if they did, that would be really cool. So yeah, let's begin. Um, you know what Billy's power does. I feel like I don't have to explain it. If I do, God bless your soul. I'm not gonna explain his power. It's if you know it, you know it. If you don't, like I said, God bless your soul. So, I would say his base charge speed is perfectly fine. His base movement speed, I think, is fine, but I don't speak for every single person on this planet, and I know 90% of people will disagree with me there, because 90% of people always have to run Doom Engraving with their builds, and that's completely understandable. So I would definitely want to see a change into Billy's his sprint speed, while keeping his base charge time speed the same. I really think it would be a horrible idea if they changed his charge time speed, his like base charge time speed. It would really just ruin a lot of combos with him. So let's just keep that the same, but just bump up his movement speed a little bit. Maybe not a little bit, just some amounts, right? Uh, I don't want to sugarcoat it, even though I do play a lot of Basekit Billy. It's not hard to dodge his saw, especially with Basekit. It's not even hard with doubles, really, but Basekit, it's so easy. It's like trying to prepare for a high five as someone's walking towards you. You just have a lot of time to react and think about what you have to do. And if you're gonna tell me like, oh, that's not right, I get hit by Basekit all the time. I think you should really consider just getting better. So yeah, improve or like raise the chainsaw sprint speed, but keep the base kit charge speed the same. I think that would be a good starting point. So now let's go ahead and talk about his bumping and his cooldown. Personally, I think both are a little too long. It's also just a bit outrageous that they are as long as they are. I want to say they're both 3-ish seconds, something like that. I would take it down to 2 seconds. That might sound outrageous, might sound absurd, but and I would agree with that. I would agree with that statement if, Nurse or like Blight or I'll say Chucky as well. Chucky's really not that he's not that punished for bumping into anything. Same with Wesker. He's not that punished either. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that they aren't punished at all, but to the degree that Billy's punished, it's a night and day. So I would really like to see a change in his bump and cooldown speeds. If 2 seconds is too drastic, 2.5. Just change it somewhat, man. It's actually very absurd how long his bump is. And his cooldown. I'm sorry, yeah, both of those just tune them down, 2 seconds, or 2.5, just something around that. It would be perfect in my opinion. Next, I kind of want to talk about this thing that Billy used to have. So, old Billy, very, very old Billy, like I want to say pre-animation change. By the way, if we got, old animations, that would be amazing, but that's not what this video is about. As I was saying, though, like, old Billy used to have this thing where if he ended his saw, he could flick his saw and still hit somebody. So, let's say, for example, I'll just use, like, a truck, for example. Let's say you're curving a truck, and let's say the person is to your left 90 degrees. You could end your saw, flick your camera, and still get the hit. Now, people might think, oh, that's BS. Not really. I don't see how it would be. If a person's right next to you and you flick your camera, from the way Billy's saw animation looks, why should he not get the down? It's not like if people will try to argue this would be some OP or broken feature, and I just disagree. People were worse at the time, and I mean considering the stuff we have now, we have Blight flicks, Oni flicks, Chucky. Wait, no, never mind. I don't think Chucky can flick anymore, but Chucky still has a lot going for him. We still though, there's a lot of killers that can flick even just 90 degrees. No, yeah, I think Chucky can flick 90 if I'm not mistaken. But still, you have a lot of killers that can flick 90, that can also hug the surface they're, gonna flick on. And Billy has none of that. Just, I don't see the argument for him not having that old flick he had. If I can, I'll find some sort of gameplay footage that shows it in progress, maybe like right now or something. All right, but next I kind of want to talk about his interaction with pallets. This is also another thing from old Billy. So new Billy, it's rather he breaks the pallet or he gets the down. What dictates this? Ping. It's very frustrating, but ping dictates it. Sometimes you will literally saw a pallet even though there's a survivor standing in front of it. Sometimes you'll get the most egregious hits over a pallet. Granted, that is rare, but it does happen, and it is very infuriating for the survivor. What would I say would be a healthy change to this? Just let Billy break the pallet and down with the survivor at the same time. This was something old Billy could do. Funny enough, I keep mentioning old Billy because he was just such a perfect killer. And I can imagine a lot of people thinking this is an egregious or an outrageous statement to make. Killer breaking a pallet and also downing you at the same time. But in reality, if you're not timing your pallet like a vaults very well, you should be punished for it. And once again, this would not make Billy overpowered because there's a lot of killers that okay, there's not a lot of killers that have that type of ability, but to act as though that Billy being able to do that equates to like I don't know, let's say like C33 Blights, MDR Spirits, or something of that nature is simply incorrect. It would make him stronger, yes, I agree. It would not make him overpowered. It just means you have to pre-drop more. And if you're gonna cry wah wah, pre-drops are boring. Um, I'm sorry. Sometimes you just have to pre-drop. But yeah, I mean personally, I think it would be fine for Billy. His power is still difficult enough to use, and it also can be very difficult um to time that type of thing. And you know what? I'll even make a compromise. Let's say the survivor is past 50% across the pallet. They won't get downed. But before that, pallet break and they get downed. It should the reason I know that sounds crazy, but the reason it should be this way is because the way ping dictates a hit or not is it's very frustrating, and it's only something you really know if you've played killers that get cucked by ping in that way. All right. Um, I think that might be everything, if I'm not mistaken. I can't really think of anything else. I guess actually one more thing is to kind of rework his collision. Well, okay, not necessarily Billy collision. I guess this is gonna be more ambitious, but I just thought of it now. But change, collision of basic tiles and things of that nature. Some hitboxes are way too big, some are way too small. Just look at the maps. Look at some hitboxes that just don't make sense, and look into crouch techs. Crouch techs, not just for Billy, but for Demo and Blight, should not be in this game. It's a very very poor mechanic. It's very cheap. Anyone that tells you they're good that because they do it, they're not. They're garbage. They're garbage. And I'm not saying that because good players also do crouch tech, but I promise you, good players are not gonna act like they're gods because they're crouch teching a Billy. Just remove it. People will not be upset. The people that would be upset are, bad players, but, good players that understand that it's not a good feature and is actually very unhealthy will be perfectly fine with it leaving. Hi, post-recording Zan here. I forgot to mention this for Basekit Changes, so I'm just going to add it here right now. Remove the smoke and the roar that come from Billy. They are both very unhealthy and add way too much counterplay for him, and I will explain why in just a second. So, as we all know, Billy has a roar as soon as he starts his chainsaw sprint, and this is too much counterplay, and it's because the survivor does not have to look at the Billy. Now you might say that having this roar is actually good and it modernizes him, but I would disagree because Billy's not Blight. Billy isn't Nurse. Billy isn't Spirit. Billy isn't Chucky. Billy is Billy. And I'm not going to say Billy's underpowered or he's weak or anything, but he is definitely not on the caliber of the killers I just mentioned. So, the word, or by the way, the roar is very, it's not good to have. If he somehow becomes an S tier, then yeah, I would say the roar is fine, but there is no way Billy would become an S tier, and it just does not make sense to have the roar. Next, I want to talk about the smoke. Now, the smoke is very, very useful, actually, and I'll explain why. Like I said, Billy has a lot of things going against him in terms of his saw. That being, you can see his saw, you can see when he is activating sprint, you can hear his saw, you can tell what state of overeat he is in by just looking at his saw, and also, you can tell where he's gonna go or where he is, depending on where he's mind gaming. Like, let's say he's on the other side of the wall. It's so easy to track because his smoke is so much higher than his player model. Billy already is a fairly tall killer. He's not, Xeno or like, where is he? Nemesis tall. I will agree there. But it's still not very hard to see over a tile and to see where Billy's at. And the smoke just adds another factor of kind of screwing him over. So yeah, just remove those two. It adds more counterplay than Billy needs. Billy's already absurdly easy to counterplay. If you disagree with that, I'm sorry. Go play against Billy, and I promise within 10 minutes you'll learn how to play against him. Alright, see ya. I'll see what my past self is talking about. So next, I want to talk about add-ons. So I guess we'll start from brown all the way to... Honestly, I'm not going to talk about the eerie add-ons. I'm sorry. They're fine, I guess. Let's talk about the brown to purple, though. So, steel toe boots. It's okay. They could make it, base kit, I guess. Or I guess they could slightly increase percentages based, if not, they increase his, bump penalty, or decrease it, sorry. They're fine the way they are. Oh, they could just make it base kit, but they're fine the way they are. Speed limiter is OP, we don't have to talk about that. Junkyard airfield, I'm gonna talk about the overheat add-ons later. Heavy clutch. Base kit. This used to be a base kit feature, I don't know why they removed it. Old Billy used to have this, I don't know why they decided to make that an add-on, it seems just very lazy. And a replacement for that could be something like Bubba's vegetable oil add-on. Let me see, I think I have to go to KYF actually, I'm pretty broke, so I don't think I have that add-on in him. Let me check really quickly. Bubba... I think it's called vegetable oil if I'm not mistaken. It's the one that lets you see... No, that is definitely not it. It's the... I swear he had an add-on that did something. Is it this one? No. Huh. I guess I'm mistaken. I swear Bubba had an add-on that, like, this one. This add-on. When revving, you see the auras of stars with 8 meters. But reduce it from 8 meters to, like, 4, because 8 meters for a brown add-on would be kind of absurd. Maybe even 2. Just something. Like, a nerfed version of this to replace heavy clutch, I think would be fine. Also, I'll just do the rest of this video on the KYF screen just because it's easier for add-on acquisition and things of that nature. So yeah, that's heavy clutch. Make it base kit and give him that one Bubba add-on, but slightly, not slightly, like, nerf it significantly to make it in line with a brown add-on. I'm going to be talking about overheat add-ons later, like I said. Vegetable oil, by the way. Motor oil, just make this base kit. There's no reason to not make this base kit. Billy Saw is a giant accessibility thing, and people might make the argument, oh, but directional saw is a huge thing with Billy. Yes, but I'm more for accessibility than some stupid directional saw tracking, okay? Death engravings, they're fine. They're fine. There's nothing else to say. They're fine. Dad disputes, they're fine as well. They're perfect the way they are. Big buckle, just remove this add-on. Make like a charge time or a cooldown add-on. I think both could work perfectly. Like when I mean cooldown, I mean like saw with cooldown, obviously, but I feel like that would be a better replacement. Same with this one. Make it base kit and make a charge time or a cooldown speed add-on. Mother's Helpers. You know, I'm going to talk about both these. Blackies and Mother's Helpers. Just combine them. Make them one add-on. And make it 60 seconds instead of 30. 30 seconds is just not enough time to actually take advantage of this. And for those of you saying that 60 seconds would be absurd, you have to eat a stun or eat a blind, or maybe both. Who knows? I promise you 18% is not that huge in the grand scheme. Excuse me, in the grand scheme of things. I feel like 60 seconds would not be a game-breaking amount of time. As a result, if we did combine these add-ons, just, you know, charge speed, cooldown add-on, one or the other. So I'll replace, you know, combining these two. Low kickback chains, perfectly fine. It's a great add-on. It's good the way it is. Leafy Mash, 15 seconds is not enough time. 30, 45, amazing. That would make this add-on good. Maybe like a secondary effect, like, I don't know. The survivors around you become oblivious. Wait, that's that's really redundant, actually. I apologize. I don't know, maybe like, they get hindered for like 5 seconds. Maybe 3. Yeah, 3 seconds. They get hindered for that amount of time, so you can actually do something with your undetectable. I don't know. That's just me, but I feel like you could do something cool if you just increase the time of undetectable and then added maybe a hindered status effect. Or you gave Billy just a haste status effect, like a 2-3% haste status effect. I think that would be cool. Doom, I don't even need to talk about Doom. Doom is fine the way it is. Tuned Carburetor, remove the speed penalty. It does not need to be, you do not need to have an add-on that is purple have such a noticeable downside. It's stupid. 25% is perfectly fine, especially for a purple add-on. I'm sorry. If you're gonna disagree and tell me, oh, it's gonna be like old Crack Billy. Crack Billy was not Crack Billy, sorry. Old Instasaw. Instasaw was not the worst thing to ever touch Billy. I promise you. People say it's Instasaw. No. Old cooldown Billy was much worse. But yeah, just remove the movement speed penalty, if I'm gonna be honest. And this add-on would be perfectly fine the way it is. I like this add-on too, but just remove the 110. 115 is fine. Stop doing this with add-ons. It's stupid to me. Just do 25%. I promise you it's not going to be that big. And it would actually mean you would have something that rivals low pro. Alright, Spike Boots. This add-on, for most of the time, is perfectly fine. But for the love of God, remove the penalty. Now this is actually something they took from Old Billy. Old Billy also had an add-on very similar to this. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. I believe it was Thompson's Moonshine. Very similar add-on to this. We just don't know the percentages. I'd assume it's the exact percentages. Oh my gosh, English. But once again, I don't see why this add-on has to be you have to be punished for bumping. Well, I understand being punished for bumping, but by this much, I don't know. I don't agree with it. It's just not something I think is a smart decision. Also, I just kind of noticed this add-on has a different icon pack compared to the other ones. If that's annoying, I apologize, and I have no idea why it's like that. But yeah, like I said, just remove the penalty. Maybe you can decrease the steering a little bit, but just remove the penalty. It's stupid that it has one. Pig House Gloves. Okay, well, this add-on is kind of a nightmare, and let's try to fix this. Remove the overheat requirements. Maybe make it where you half these percentages, so it's 20% braking and then 25% stun duration. Or bring back begrimed chain. For those of you who don't know what begrimed chain is, I'll read to you right now. It moderately decreases the repair speed of survivors injured by the saw, and this also means down, just pretty much you lost your health state because of the chainsaw. And it survivors injured by the saw um, suffer from the mangled status effect. I mean, that would make this add-on super cool, right? I mean, granted, it's an add-on we've had before, but like, it would be cool. And I like what they do here by trying to change Billy with this add-on because of the like break speed and the stun stuff. But the overheat it's useless. It's a useless add-on because it takes 10 years to overheat now, because they made such a good change. But please, for the love of God, rather remove the overheat and lower these numbers, or just add Begrime Chain back in the game. Begrime Chain, I promise you, once again, is not gonna break Billy and make him an S tier character, and it would promote chainsaw use. I don't see the problem with that. Low Pro. Okay, so Low Pro. There's not much to say. Low Pro's great. If there's anything, I guess maybe make it to where, controller players can flick with Low Pro the way MNK players can, but Low Pro, other than that, is perfectly fine. It's a well-designed add-on, in my opinion. Not much else to say. Like I said, I don't really care about the Eries. They do their job. They're gimmick things. But like 90% of... Well, okay, maybe not 90, but like a good amount of the Eries are fairly gimmicky, other than the ones that are very strong. I know that sounds very redundant and contradictory, but I don't know. These are cool, I guess. They're cool. They're used in some builds, and I think it's okay they stay this way. It's a fun way to play Billy if you're bored. And I get it can be annoying if you're just trying to play competitively, but come on, man. It's a pub game. Let it be in the game. Alright. Time to talk about Junkyard Air Filter and Punctured Muffler. So, like I said, overheat rarely happens now, and it essentially makes these perks, by the way, these add-ons, very useless. So, what can we do with them? Keep the overheat properties, I would say, but then add, an extra benefit to it, so, you don't feel stupid running these things. You could, for example, do kind of like Begrime Chain. This one gives Mangled. Oh, wait, no, that is actually not a good idea. Sorry. No Mangled, sorry. Let's say this one gives Hemorrhage or something. I don't know, I'm just kind of spitballing here. Oh, actually, make it to where Junkyard Air Filter, it increases your overheat limits, and it helps you break pallets faster. By, like, Saw. Like, you saw a pallet, that pallet breaks 10-20% faster. That's gonna sound insane, but zoning is something you have to do with Billy, and why not reward good zoning? And, of course, I'm just spitballing values, by the way. If 10-20% is absurd, maybe it is. I'm just spitballing the idea, and I think it would help make his add-ons more diverse and more useful. So if you don't agree with the number value I'm giving, it's more of just the idea, Alright, in Punctured Muffler, this one you can do like, the repair speed. Just, less repair speed. Kind of like one of his old add-ons. This one being, oh god, give me a second to find it. Is it, Sorry, I completely forgot his old add-ons. Basically, just take the Begrime Chain, like, reduces the speed in which a survivor does a generator, but, decrease the downside so that it's in line with a yellow add-on. Just don't make it a placebo type of add-on to where it's such a small number that it feels like it's doing something when it's actually not. For example, like, let's say the Pighouse glove change comes in, and let's say there's like a 25% decrease on gens. If you hit someone with a saw, this would be like a 10%, 15, 10, or 5%. No, not 5%. God, no, 5%. But like a 15 to 10% decrease. Once again, if you disagree with the numerical values I'm giving, that's perfectly fine, and I get that. But I'm more so trying to talk about the concept of that. You know what I mean? Alright, cool. So now let's talk about some more ambitious changes that I would make to Billy. Honestly, this is not that insane of a section as you might have thought it was. But it's honestly very simple. Make Doom base kit, or make Low Pro base kit. One or the other. Don't make both of them base kit, because Billy would be absurd. Or do it, because it would be hilarious if you could do Doom Pro base kit. But just make one of these add-ons base kit. I feel like Doom is like the foundation of any Billy add-on combo. So this would be a very healthy change if they just added this to base kit. And if they did low pro, this would just be hilarious. I think it'd be funny. It would not be OP. Don't think it would be OP. Even if they did this, this would not be OP. Well, okay, actually, maybe it would be. Maybe it would be absurd, especially because you could stack two other add-ons. But still, I don't see the harm in making one of these base kit at least. I think that would be fine. That's about it. Future Zan here again. I guess there's another kind of ambitious change they can make to Billy, and I forgot about it. This is what happens when you don't make a script. You just remember things as you're watching an Osaka stream at 2:20 p.m. in the afternoon. Okay, but here we go. So yeah, another change they can make to Billy, a more ambitious change, is just to decrease the time penalty that engravings give by half or something. Once again, I'm saying this is ambitious because it would be kind of strong or kind of crazy if they did that, but it would be kind of cool. But yeah, that's really it. Just remove, or like half the time, the penalty of charge speed with ability with engravings. So yeah, that's about it. We'll see what Future Zan is talking about again. So yeah. Actually, I do have another thing to say. I have been going on Twitter, and I've been seeing a lot of people very worried. Oh my god, that's kind of weird. I've had a lot of people talk about how they're worried about Billy changes because, you know, they tried to nerf engravings before. And while I do agree you should have some sort of fear and anxiety, I would stay optimistic because they are trying to modernize this killer. They said Billy would have a whole rework coming, not just, you know, an add-on pass. So, guys, I understand where your skepticism is coming from, and I understand where your anxieties or fear is coming from with this change or changes coming to him, but like they're trying to modernize the killer, and I feel like we should appreciate that they've understood that this killer is not meant for 2023-24 DBD, and that they're looking into it. So like I said, once again, I'm not saying to be excited if they completely gut Billy or anything of that nature, or make him brain dead easy. I would hate that if they made him brain dead easy and just, I don't know, gave him the trickster treatment. What I am saying though is, don't give them crap right now, and don't just expect the worst. And just be happy that, you know, they're at least not considering, they are trying to modernize this killer. If he is bad and if his changes are bad, we'll talk about it then. And we will talk to BHVR. Not just, you know, me, because I don't have any connections. I'm just a Billy player from California. But, like, as a community, we can call them out and tell them, like, hey, we don't like these changes. Once again, like, I understand that given their track record of, you know, screwing Billy over, you know, overheat, the engravings changes, animation changes, and other base kit changes and bugs that just don't make sense. I understand, once again, your skepticism, but, you know, they're trying to modernize this killer. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. And if it's as bad as, you know, you guys assume, you can, first of all, you can say, I told you so, and I will completely tell you that I ate my words. And then we can complain to BHVR about it. But, once again, guys, thank you guys for listening to me. It's been like 20 minutes. I understand that it can be painfully boring for some of you to watch a video like this. But, yeah, that's it from me. And I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.